Just a few days ago, Automobilista 2 received a new update, V1.6.7, which brings us even closer to V1.7. But what does this update include? Well, that's what I'm going to tell you today. So let's jump into Automobilista 2 and let's have a look for ourselves. So we can start off by going into the time trial. And there you can see there are no new tracks for this week, but we have two new cars. We have, in the Ligier European series, we have the Ligier JSP4, which I still hope gets more liveries, because it used to be 4 in the beta, now it's 10, and we need, I believe, around 14, 15 to fully simulate a season, and this one got 30 for some reason, and I believe it was, the amount is lower currently in this year. So that's an interesting choice, and this I will discuss how it handles and everything in a bit. And now in the, no, not GT3, in the Formula V, we have the Gen 2 car, where the real differences are the, I believe it is, yeah, you have the halo, obviously. You have a few minor internal things, possibly, if I recall correctly. But the main thing is the rear end, where you can see you have the, what seems to be the engine and the engine there and the transmission. But it used to be suspension arm, so each wheel isn't fully connected, no, isn't fully independent, but now they are. So that's something very nice. But first of all, let's try the new Ligier JSP4, and we're going to try it around Spa. And yeah, they have to try and fix this, where the JS2 is, the quickest lap time is 9 seconds from the quickest P4 lap time, which is a bit of an issue. But hopefully they fix them. Maybe they separate them into classes, or they make some weird thing about it being per car. Either way, I know Razer will be able to are going to do a good choice. And whilst we're here, we can actually discuss a big development which we might be feeling in this car. I will be driving a GT3 car later on to try it out. And it says on the physics front, they have done a few things to make drafting more effective, but also the downforce cars to be slightly less sensitive to yaw. And what that means is, if you have a car like this, let's say, and yaw is, if like this is the axis, this is yaw, where it's the rotation. So rotating, and it used to lose a lot of downforce. Now it says that they will lose less, it seems. But we have to, the proof is in the pudding. And with this car, it has like 380 horsepower and is very light. It feels to me, when the tires are heated up, it feels quite a bit like a GT1 car, because it feels quite powerful, but it doesn't feel like it has unlimited amount of traction, and it doesn't feel extremely stable, if you get what I mean. So like through here, you still get a lot of downforce, it seems. But it's no Formula 1 car. Still very fun though. I feel like this car is a lot more fun than the JS2, because the JS2 felt a lot like a GTE car, where it felt like it would just have like a lot of grip and like not be so wild, whilst here it feels a bit less planted, you could say. And with the yaw effects, I mean, I haven't really driven this car without the yaw change. So I don't really know if it's made a big difference in this car. But you can see you can still have issues when driving. So it's not like you have unlimited amounts of grip. But yeah, this car doesn't have a lot of downforce, and you can definitely feel it when driving. And you could also see I touched the curb and I nearly lost it. So in a way, this car is very, very hard. I feel like this and the other one is a very good way of starting to learn how to properly utilize the brake and throttle, while the JS2 being a good way to start with GT cars before going off to a GTE, whilst this car being good to drive before heading off into the other prototypes. The engine, I mean, it sounds quite good. Not the best engine in the world, I would say, but not the worst. I mean, you could see through there, the tires feel quite edgy. It feels a bit like a Group C car with how much movement it has. But yeah, this car feels very fun. Like you have to be a bit on your tippy toes when driving, because you never know what will happen. And this is with the default setup, by the way. I haven't played around with the default setup. You can see doing no real mistakes and just being smooth with the power inputs makes the car handle very well. No major issues. Which, I mean, is quite a fun car because, I mean, if you get punished for doing something wrong, then you know that you're doing something wrong. Instead of not being punished for doing something wrong, then it becomes a habit, and then, whoops, you don't know what you're doing wrong. And yet, this car feels nice. Very fun and very satisfying when you actually pull a good lap in. I think I will pause it for you here, and we will go into the Formula Vee Gen 2. You can see how good I am, because I finished, I put the time in, which is 4 on the list. Now, let's jump into the Formula Vee Gen 2 and see how good it handles. I believe it has street tires, which means it will be extra interesting. Oh, and you can see the welds too. I remember there was a guy who was showing them off, or discussing how you could see them. Okay, now let's try and see. I mean, so far it's a very slow car. I mean, if you like slow manual Formula cars, then this is nice. You have the MS2 logo there. which is a nice little thing. Oh, I had some lift-off oversteer there. Quite interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't fully know what to say, really. It feels very slow, especially for this track. And I believe they drive this around, like, Interlagos, which is quite an interesting choice. But yeah, this feels quite planted. They don't really feel problematic so far. Yeah, it felt like I braked maybe a tad too much into that corner. It also feels like... It also feels like you can over-rev... You can get a lot of torque when shifting up. I don't know what the full... I don't fully know the science of that, but seems a little funny. Yeah, you can see that I'm a real amateur with the manual gearbox. That's something I really need to get better at. Maybe this car would be good for me learning how to properly shift in a manual, because things actually work slower in this car. So you can actually get your brain to wrap around things a lot easier than driving a Group C car. And when I say slow, when you're going slow, I'm still going like 170. This is still very quick. And on the exit, it doesn't feel like you have a lot of oversteer. And I am 8 seconds behind the world record holder. Okay, let's see what kind of lap I can do now. If I just wait a second. Feels like the guy who made the world record time is not that good on the straight. Because he was 1 second quick. They were 1 second quicker than me, and I'm already 2 seconds up on my best lap time. So I mean, now with getting the tires heated up and also understanding the car a lot more, it actually feels better. This really feels like a very good trainer car, I would say. And I lost it. Shows how actually driving it properly will help, and you not driving it properly will not help. Good example. Now, it's time to jump into the GT3s. And I know a lot of people might not like that. Are going to see how they are. Okay, so now we're in the GT3. I reset the setup and reduced traction control to 0. Why I've done that is because I have done a test using this car without TC to see the amount of slip which we got. And if we now try and see the amount of slip, we shall see how good it actually is, this update. Okay, so we're still on cold tires, so don't judge it fully now. You can see like some general traits, I would say, with the tires still cold, but you won't see the actual handling part. You have to wait a bit. But I will drive like a few laps, and I will get back to you when I feel like the tires are getting hot. Okay, so now I've done a lap, and I feel like the tires might still not be fully there, but you still feel some of differences. And I would say now the slides end a bit more abruptly, and they're not that long. Like through there. It feels like you get a little bit and then you keep going straight. So I feel like that's the main thing, is the real length of the slip angle, and really how much the feeling is during the corner. Because now, visually, except for that, I mean visually, I don't really feel slip angle, or see, I should say. Like through there, I got quite a bit of slip angle, but through the other corners, I don't really have the same feeling of view. So that's an interesting point. So it really feels like it has affected the grip picking back up again, and not really that you have unlimited grip when sliding. So it could be that which actually got fixed or adjusted, because they made it so you have more grip, more downforce with slip angles and not less, which could feel weird when people were saying it was sliding all over the place. But as stated before, I am no expert, but we'll have a look at the telemetry to see how the slip angles are. But this lap could be a good one, so let me be quiet. Okay, so now we are back, and if we have a look here, I would just want to see why the range is so high. Oh, that's because I spun there. But if we look at the quickest lap, which was the lap after the one I showed you, if we just change this scale. Okay, no. Go properties. Then here, yes. If we do map, then okay, here you can see. So you can see here, if we have this is with counter, so if we include the counter steering moments, like here when I'm turning and then going back, then I could reach 7.5. Here, this is the last corner, the turn, so I think is a bit weird, but the highest I could reach was actually 6.5, it seems, or I don't know, but it seems like the slip angles have gotten less. Yes, sort of. I mean, if you have a look through this corner, you have this abrupt slip, change. Oh, this must be, if we check here, the driver. Okay, so it's through that section when I'm changing section very quickly. And then on the exit, I drift out wide a bit. And then I have like 6.5 because you could see here me like auto-correcting and stuff. And then for here, I also have a few issues. But when I'm actually in full control of the car, and you say I don't have to really do micro changes, which you can see through here. When I have the larger slip angles, I have more steering rates. Whilst when it's calmer, I don't have as much. So in general, you could say the slip angles have sort of reduced a bit, but actually I just remembered something. If we can overlay this one with the previous one, which was, yes, this one, which is the last time I did it. So you have the quickest one we did today compared to that one. And there you can clearly see, or sort of see, is actually, if we compare the green now, you have actually, that's very interesting actually. Because if we have a look at the white, if we remove, okay, if we take this, okay, no we can't. But if you have a look at this one, you can see the peaks aren't very steep. They are very long, you could say. Whilst if you have a look at this, where the green is the newer one we did today, you can see the peaks are a lot steeper. So what does this mean in reality? Well, as stated, I am no expert, but from my understanding of this, it means that you have sort of more slip in some situations, but you can't really consistently contain that slip for long periods. So you can't like drift through a corner really with this new change. You can mostly like do micro transitions between like more large and small slip. So it seems like the sliding has gotten reduced, and in my opinion it definitely feels like it has. I do not know what's more realistic, but I still feel like I can steer with the pedals. It just doesn't feel as much as before. I mean, the actual feeling and the viewing of the slip. But what do you think? Comment down below. And whilst you're down there, please hit the like button and also subscribe. This video was quite unexpected. So what might next week's video be? Well, I definitely do not accept the next content update to arrive the week of uploading this. So I wouldn't expect a video on that. And you might be wondering, do I know what's coming? Yes, I do know. I won't reveal anything at all. So we'll see. I might do actually a video on car control and then talk about like drifting and rallying a bit more, because I told you how to drive rally cars. Now I'm going to try to tell you about car control. But until then, I've been Racing Legend. You've been my amazing viewers. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.